As I begin part 4 here and have sent a call into voicemail because this is a little bit more calming for me than having to deal with that bullshit right now. It just makes me think about how selfish and insensitive we all are in our own ways. Um, Once I started dating, I probably wasn't paying as much attention to my son anymore either. Not like this, though. Oh my God, no. Oh my God, not like this. But, my son was going through junior high at the time and high school. And I think he felt that me dating somebody probably took me away from him a lot, right? Because part of that, I was a single mom. I was in his life every day. I volunteered for him every day. I was always available, maybe too available. I didn't, I wasn't able to provide him the balance of having a second parent. Um, and that makes me sad that if I, wasn't as skilled as a parent as I should have been, that makes me sad that um, there was a point in his life when I stopped reading stories to him at night, or I mean, I still volunteered. I was still volunteering. I was still showing up to the IEP meetings. Um, but I think that when you do have family in your life, especially like immediate family or a relationship that's if you consider that relationship to be important, um, it should matter. And I think we've all been on both sides of this probably at one point or another, where we are either being hurt or might be hurting somebody else, whether intentional or unintentional. And but what these two people are doing is like so beyond any of just the basic emotional hurt you can get um, from a family relationship, a romantic relationship, whatever it is, where you're maybe you have like an inattentive family member or partner. Um, what is happening here had deathly consequences. Obviously, I can't even possibly imagine doing this to any child, and I cannot imagine having somebody in my life who would be willing to neglect a child, whether their own child or somebody else's child. I can't even fucking imagine that. All right, let's start part 4, you guys.
That was Tatiana's interview. Now let's look at Seth's.
All right, let's go, Seth.
Man, sorry about that. We're in there with Tatiana. I think we were all get through it, so I'll give it a cheers.
Seth is already cold and standoffish. He barely acknowledges the police officers, and it seems he feels somewhat slighted because he had to wait to speak to them while they talked to his wife first. The officers now have to start building a rapport with him and try to get him to trust them and confide in them in the way Tatiana did.
Okay, look at her. I'm sorry, I would normally not ask people to do this, but look at the silhouette of her breasts. She is not wearing a breastfeeding bra. A breastfeeding bra has 2 latches on it so that you can pop them open so your boob can pop right out and feed the child. and you put a pad in there that will collect the milk if you start leaking, which happens all the time. When you're a breastfeeding mom, all you have to do is, it's just got to be a couple hours or whatever. It's just got to be a little bit of time and you'll start leaking because they fill up. Or if you hear your child or even anybody else's child start crying, you're going to start squirting all over the place. So you have to have these pads in your bra, and there are openings on the bra so that you can quickly open it on the front without taking like an arm strap off, and just take the pad out and stick that boob right in the baby's mouth. That's how it goes. That is what we have. If you look at the silhouette of what's going on with her shirt, she is not wearing something like that.
Seth, I don't know if you remember my name or not. It's Jason. This is my sergeant. Same name, Jason. Different last name. Seth, I want to talk. I wasn't in with you guys this weekend. I'd like to just get some background information just on your marriage, all that kind of stuff, if you're going to be doing that. I don't really talk to these guys on car.
They would be two very round looking pads that are under cloth. And if I know, like I said, I don't like to point people to people's breasts, but in this case, that's part of her case, is she's saying she was breastfeeding this child, that she was actually feeding the child. What's happening with the curvature, the shape, is that she's a bit pointy. You're not going to look pointy if you're wearing something like that.
With your rights, just due to the simple fact that we're sitting in the sheriff's probably in every room, those same rights still apply. You remember those rights? You want me to read them to you again? Was the card that they showed to your court the same card as this? I'll stick that in front of you just as a refresher so you have them if you need them. But I'm sorry you're going through this. I told you that earlier. But how long have you been? Is it Tatiana, right? I keep Tatiana. How long have you guys been married?
I don't know how long we've been married for, like 3 years. March 2015, I think.
Okay.
We've been together since September 2011.
Okay, and are all of your children your guys' children? Okay. Can you tell me about the birth?
About the what?
I mean, like...
So, just where was she born?
Why I'm very anti-medical industry is because of what happened with her birth. She coughed one time, and so they said that they had to keep her under observation for 72 hours to make sure she didn't have a breathing problem. She didn't have a breathing problem. She coughed one time to clear some birth fluid out of her lungs.
Right.
And they kept us under observation for...
Birth fluid under her lungs? What is up with their story? She's like, I had a bunch of extra fluid. And he's like, she had birth fluid under her lungs. Do you even understand the anatomy of a woman? Like, how the fuck do you get birth fluid under your lungs? What the hell are you even talking about? They said that the results were that the first daughter had THC in her system. These two have lined up their stories, but they're also so fucking ignorant about medicine that they don't realize that you can't just fucking... You can't do that. Like, you can have some water weight gain that can accumulate all over your body, but what he's discussing is fucking nonsense. You don't get birth fluid under your... I can't even, you guys.
72 hours.
Oh, wow, you're paying for it?
Of course, yeah, the bill was about $15,000. So, so that was kind of a kick in the rear.
Wow.
And then afterwards, we had some problems where I actually had a doctor make a fraudulent CPS claim, and I actually forged paperwork and stuff like that. And I tried to make a complaint about it, but nobody listens.
That was also...
Tatiana and Seth explain the birth story the exact same way, likely because this has been repeated in their history since it happened. The doctors wanting to observe their daughter to make sure she didn't have a breathing problem being a farce, and the fraudulent CPS report is something they have likely shared with others, trying to make a point about how horrible the medical industry is and exonerate themselves from their negative behaviors. The couple is aligned in their belief that any reporting to CPS has been inaccurate and false, and characterize it as such, even when sitting across from two police officers investigating their daughter's death due to their neglect.
Was more of a get rich scheme, wasn't it? Kind of like I'm gonna make some money off from a product that someone really doesn't need.
Yes.
And
I hate that they keep redacting shit. This is annoying.
He issued two separate flavors, forms of paperwork. One that had a bunch of notes on it saying all sorts of bad healthcare things we were doing wrong with CPS person, and the copy of the paperwork he gave to us that said she was fine. So that was about my last straw with it.
was that to do with the helmet? And is that so? It all started with, if I'm right, it all started with the helmet.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
It all started with the cough, but to the helmet.
I'm not a big fan of a lot of the immunization stuff, and so I kind of bulked against that, and they didn't like that either. They even got to the point where they, the first time we changed doctors, they called CPS on us just for changing doctors, because the doctor we were seeing was all the way in Byron Center.
I can't emphasize how untrue this statement is. Seth is operating from the standpoint that every negative thing that has happened to him or his family has been someone else's doing, that he is somehow the victim in every part of his life. Doctors reporting the family to Child Protective Services is not because they are seeing signs of abuse, but because they want to make sure the children are well taken care of. It's because they are terrible people who are mad that he is such a free thinker. People who think this way are incredibly difficult to talk to and reason with, because they refuse to empathize with anyone and thereafter anyone else's point of view. They cannot conceptualize them being at fault. So when they talk about situations where their actions are called into question, they make up flimsy, unbelievable excuses that are easily fact-checked and disputed. All he is doing is confirming the pattern of child abuse that Tatiana already established before. And just like her, he is unable to see that he has done that.
From Cedar Springs. So they called CPS on us because we changed doctors and didn't give them enough notice.
Didn't give who enough notice?
So,
What?
I'm done with medical stuff. We're home birthing. It's
the way to go anyways, isn't it?
Yeah, we were.
I didn't come whether you're ready or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, So there you go. That's about.
You would think that losing a child mere hours before, a child that you purport to love, that
You see that? She's actually adjusting her bra strap right now. Keep an eye on that. She's adjusting her bra strap right now. When you're wearing something like that, the main areas where it bothers you is right around your nipples, because that's where you start expressing, right? She's not displaying the kind of body behavior of somebody who would be wearing the kind of bra that women wear when they are breastfeeding. I'm just telling you straight up.
would reconsider his stance on modern medicine. You would think, at the very least, he would express some form of regret for not providing his child with medical attention and feel some kind of guilt over that. But he simply doesn't care. He is flippant, shrugging his shoulders as if to say, it is what it is, about his beliefs about medicine and his child being dead.
And that's kind of what Tatiana explained too, is that she was going to immunization, she was with and everything was kind of okay, but there was, both of you had done some research and you weren't too keen on immunizations, and then come along the helmet. You guys wanted to get a second opinion on the helmet, so you don't need anything. And so you chose not to get a helmet, and then that's kind of when the CPS referral came along, and the failure to thrive type referral, if that's, if this is sounding correct. And then you guys
Oh, again? Fuck's sake, you guys.
And you remember?
Honestly, this channel, I've not watched this particular channel before. It just came up in my feed. But seriously, if you're going to have that much redacted material, can you please just like fast forward it or cut it or do something? Because I have no heads up that this is coming. And if it's this annoying to me, I'm sure it is to my channel too when I'm doing a react video to it. This is some bullshit. Can you please fucking edit this shit a little bit? Fuck's sake.
Was born?
Yeah, she's, well, I guess I had it refreshed today. I guess from what Tatiana said, she's 14 ounces. So.
And then how much,
7'2".
and we're all about the same length as
They're all the same size. I was born to 21 inches, like we're all the same.
Yeah. And then like exactly the same?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Once you add to that.
Yeah, and she was even earlier too. That's why I just didn't, it never, bothered me too much that she was skinny, because she came out.
Yeah. Yeah. So you, Annie, when did it like dawn on you that she's thin?
Oh, just when she came out. I mean,
She's thin.
Yeah.
I don't know, Tatiana, was she going to labor?
Was she induced?
Or she had just been up pacing around all night, and then baby started sliding out. And things are a lot easier when you do them at home, I'll tell you what.
Well, yeah, you don't have to drive anywhere.
Yeah. And the position they put you in the hospital is very, just bad medicine, just whatever.
What position are you at home?
And you just stand up.
Do you really?
Yeah, gravity just shoots the baby right down. They don't have you up, facing upward, pushing against the gravity. Makes no sense.
No, actually would make sense if you think about it.
Yeah.
Never seen it. So you...
The other officer offers Seth some light pushback, nothing incredibly demeaning or hurtful, and Seth immediately deflates. He sighs, leans back, and is clearly annoyed that his own ideas are being pushed down. I don't know why this officer would state that when trying to build rapport, especially because Seth seems a bit narcissistic.
Yeah.
But let's continue.
Well, you have to just kind of be under there, like, you're like the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And, on that day?
Yeah, she got up there. She was late for the delivery. She checked over the baby, said she's healthy.
Is that what she does, midwife? They kind of tie off their tubes or whatever it is they have to do? And...
Yes. They do the dirty work that anybody could do. It's just a lot of us aren't willing to do it.
I highly doubt a midwife did a tube tying procedure in their home. How did that come out? Tube tying is basically when you don't want to have kids anymore, right? Like it's like a I think my mom had this done after I was born. It's to prevent you from getting pregnant in the future. But I don't think a midwife would have the medical experience to do a medical procedure like that. So what do you mean they tied off her tubes? What are you talking about?
But yeah, really what they they mop up the blood and they go over your check sheet of check this to see if the baby's healthy,
Yeah. So, and then do they do all the recording of birth, or is that something you guys do, or?
I think-ish.
Yeah, it seems like they would.
My wife kind of deals with more of the paperwork.
Yeah. So you said that, so you weren't concerned about her being skinny?
It's silent again.
I get comments that she bigger than some 6-year-old boys now.
Mm-hmm.
Same size, skinny, but it just took a while, and then after I think it was about 10 months, 2 years, she started really putting on weight, and now you saw her.
Yep. And she didn't need a helmet. Her head looks just fine.
Yeah.
So,
Seth truly believes that his eldest daughter, who is also incredibly malnourished and had resorted to eating dirt and grass, is fine and healthy.
Was Tatiana working?
No.
So Tatiana was home, and she did all the feedings, right from the source. If Tatiana went to Meyer,
Yes.
and that was in case she needed to latch on,
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah.
So, because with the other two, Tatiana would leave a food source at home because she was working some.
Oh yeah, when she would go to the farmer's market for farm produce business. But last year, which is last year, we did that. She took both kids with her pretty much every time.
Okay.
It's again silent. So apparently,
Where I couldn't go to
taking
market
kids
anymore,
slowly
so
or something.
I stayed
Stay
home.
home, work on the farm.
Yep.
So feeding the children has never been a real part of your responsibility.
Well, but I've been feeding her dinner. I feed her tons of solid food. I feed her 3 or 4 of those Gerber cups.
Yeah.
And she just wolfed them right down, no problem.
Were you guys buying solid food or making solid food?
Both.
Okay. What were you making?
If we made anything, it was just like sweet potatoes grinded up, and she made the bacon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So what she was saying is what she could recall is like some vegetables out of your garden.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe whatever it was you had growing at that time.
Yeah.
And then she'd throw something, maybe breast milk, to make the vegetables more palatable. Whatever that word is. Palatable. Yeah.
Oh,
And then she would make like a little fruit smoothie, maybe some blueberries, some nuts, like that. And then she did take up potatoes and stuff like that. When did you guys start with her on solid foods?
it's been a couple months now. Since the beginning of summer.
Okay.
I would want to say maybe since April, because that's when Tatiana started working at her job. So basically, we were only going to let her was eating solid foods just fine.
Yep.
So I would say April.
Okay. And then that was supplementing nursing with solids. Has solids ever completely taken over? Was nursing still?
She still nurses, yeah.
Okay, so what would you say was her primary, nursing or the solids? Or we can't say that.
I can't scientifically say. I'd say probably at this point we were really working on trying to make it more solid food only, especially because I was pregnant again. So, how that all works.
yeah. So, like I said, especially according to her body language, the way her shirt is, the way that she's fidgeting with her bra, because most women do fidget with their bras. She probably, if she ever breastfed, which I don't know if she ever did, she probably weaned the child off of breastfeeding several months ago, because she does not look like somebody. She hasn't even asked at this point. Keep in mind, she's been there for several hours at this point, and she did not bring a breast pump with her. But even if she didn't have one, didn't expect that she was going to be there that long, she has not asked to go to the restroom to provide relief by pushing the milk out, because it builds up. And there were times when I didn't know I was going to be somewhere for so long, and I had to go to the bathroom and push it out of my breasts. So the fact that she's experiencing no discomfort after already being there, I think the first portion of this interview went an hour and a half, right? And now we're into close to 2 hours. So she should, if she was a breastfeeding mom, she should at this point be starting to feel buildup that she needs to relieve. That's why I find it completely unbelievable that she was breastfeeding her daughter.
I do know how that works.
Right. So, you're trying to get her over to just be on solid.
Yeah. So you're more familiar with this than me, with having younger kids. Typically, at what age is it that they switch over to solids? Do you remember?
Nope.
No, me neither. Do you remember?
We don't.
Yeah.
I thought it was when they started teething, but.
I'll bet you all of our lives know.
Right. Right. Yeah, you're supposed to, I think you're supposed to transition it in starting at starting at 6 months, you're supposed to transition it in, and then by 2 years old, the kids are supposed to be.
Okay. All right.
Off the teeth.
Off the teeth. So.
Wow.
So I'm sorry.
Tatiana.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
That's my mistake. Tatiana would work, and when she started working, she started with fewer hours. She started working 4-hour shifts, I think it was.
Yeah, like 3-4 days a week. Yeah.
And then she moved up to now she's working
basically full time.
Was it like 3 to 11?
Yeah.
Okay. So when did that begin? Remember about when-ish?
July 4th.
Okay. So starting July 4th, did more of the responsibilities of...
Yeah, I guess so.
So from 3 p.m., because I know obviously when Tatiana was there and she would nurse her, did she leave you bottles of breast milk to nurse her, or did you not nurse?
No, we just had, that's when I would give her solid food.
Okay. So she would leave work 2:30 ish, I'm assuming, and how many times?
Come on, y'all. This is annoying as fuck.
But what the normal schedule is Tatiana puts baby down at 2:30. I've got some time to kind of let my brain simmer down because get up and work in the morning.
Yeah.
So let my brain have some time to simmer down. Kids have quiet time, and then they're up again by 4:35, and then I'm up with.
Just bleep the names. Fuck's sake, you guys.
Or I might feed her 2 of the cups, pick her up for a half hour, walk around so the food settles, and then come back and feed her the rest, and then take her outside for an hour, hour and a half. Then bring her back and put her back down.
So dinner time, that's fine.
Yeah, it was nothing too, we're not too, regulated. We're not too uptight, but, yeah, generally, she'd get up, let's just say general timing, it'd be up again, 4:30 to 5. She'd eat 5:30, be back in bed by 6:30.
Okay. And then she'd be back in bed at 6:30, and then when was the next feeding?
A lot of times I think that's probably my wife breastfeeds her at night.
Oh, when she got home from work?
Yeah, so I wouldn't really know about that.
Because you'd usually be in bed by then?
Early mornings on the farm? Yeah. So, so my wife might breastfeed her in the middle of the night, or breakfast time when she gets up again.
So typically speaking, that dinner meal would be because then she would sleep till your wife got home. So that would be the last. So you have to just feed her really
once.
Yeah. Or if she wanted to goof off a little bit before feeding, you might split that once up into twice. So at what point did you guys become concerned about her weight?
This is the first confrontation in this interview. Let's see how he responds to this direct kind of confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's always kind of been there. It's always been something that we've watched. However, it never seemed to cause because it never did. But I just know you.
A couple observations. Mom, in her window, is rocking back and forth. That is definitely something to look for as to nervous behavior or some sort of mental issue or something's going on with her. She's rocking back and forth in that window up there. I mean, I'll be real, I shake sometimes because I have a pain condition, but rocking back and forth is generally a sign of some level of anxiety The other thing is their timelines are not adding up. When he's talking about like when the kids are up versus what she was saying about when the kids are up, what the feeding schedule looks like, these things are not matching up. The other thing is he basically started the interview saying that they had already switched the 10-month-old completely to solids. And then he changed his interview and started saying, "Oh yeah, she's still breastfeeding him." And one of the comments here that you're not going to be able to see because I'm going to clip this says, "Who in the hell says his wife completely drains her breast milk into our daughter?" It is a bit of a weird thing to say. Like, first of all, okay, when you are breastfeeding a child, yeah, it does kind of feel, it's almost like, for you dudes who don't know what this sensation is like, it's like if you have to go to the bathroom really bad and you drain your pipe and it's such a relief at the end of it, right? Like you've emptied your bladder, you feel so good. That's kind of the same sensation that women have when they breastfeed, because it's like, it needs to come out, please take it out, and you get most of it out, right? But that is a very weird way to describe it, you guys. Very bizarre man that we're watching here. And, I also have to wonder, like, if they were having all the kids at home, right? They had a midwife to do home deliveries. Did they have an emergency procedure set up? What if the baby was breech? What if they had a scenario like me where I did not, my cervix didn't open up all the way and I had to have an emergency C-section. So if you have an emergency situation at home, are you just going to let her die? Or are you going to call 911? What are you going to do? What kind of weird-ass anti-vax, anti-medicine person are you, you fat motherfucker who needs to go to the gym?
You guys are watching my words. So, it never caused her, let's put it this way, she never was sickly in any way, slow, lethargic, no health indicators that said anything was wrong other than that she was skinny, which I just didn't let it get to me, because, like I said, very skinny. She started putting on weight recently. We really started pounding the solid food down in the last month or so. Really making sure she gets some chicken, potatoes, cheese, stuff.
Mm-hmm. Prior to the confrontation, Seth was more than happy to talk about a variety of subject matter he wasn't incredibly informed on. But when asked a simple question about when did you notice your 9-month-old was only 8 pounds, a size that is much closer to a newborn than an infant, he begins stuttering. He isn't sure of himself, even though the question is a simple one. I want to take this time to point out that Seth has still not mentioned anything about not seeking medical treatment for faith-based reasons.
Well, and on top of that too, you can't even excuse it as them being like first-time parents, because this is their third child. So it's not like having an 8-pound 10-month-old would look normal to them because they don't have the experience or whatever. They absolutely already have 2 children in their lives. So they fucking did this on purpose.
And when you started putting the high protein, how recently was that? Month or 2. Okay. And because that's what Tatiana said, is that probably the last month or 2 is when you guys actually became a little concerned about the weight. Yeah, but I kind of was like, because my mom's always been honest about it. Always. She's always on, get some food in this kid. Yeah, she always like, you guys feed him. Oh, well, look at the garbage. And I'm just like, I can't feed the kid enough. Right. She said, when was the last time your mom was on you about it? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The last time my mom said something about it, she said that she late. Oh, okay. So that's why. So you thought you were in the right direction. When was that? Last week, Sunday. Not this last Sunday, the one before that? Yes. Okay. And you were at your mom?
Hey, Mom, how do you feel about both of them going to jail for killing their daughter? And you're probably not going to get custody of their kids either. They're going to go into foster care. Because clearly, if you're giving that kind of advice, you're going to be under Child Protective Services magnifying glass as well. Holy crap with you people. You were all around this situation and said nothing.
She was at your place,
She's at our house.
and she thought that she was gaining weight.
She remarked that her cheeks seemed a lot fuller.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not getting custody of anything.
So a month or two ago, you two became concerned and started putting some proteins to her, some chickens and cheeses and whatever, just trying to bulk her up a little bit. And did you believe it was starting to work?
I seemed to definitely notice that she was getting heavier. Tatiana mentioned it to me. My mom mentioned it to me, so I would say yes.
So Tatiana thought she was getting healthier too, and that she was getting bigger. Okay.
Because she's always been growing long. She's just never put the meat She's never put the meat on.
Right. Yeah.
She's skeleton.
So Tatiana, I was correcting this is wrong. Tatiana said that, and kind of said that, especially about the last month, you guys became concerned that you started very consistently and regularly, hardly praying over Lord help her gain weight. Does that sound right?
I don't. She may have. I haven't really done so much. But I'm glad to hear she was.
Yep. So you when she started losing her weight, you thought maybe it was just a growing spurt, and she had lost weight, and so she was getting. And is that what you attributed her? I'm sorry, not the weight loss, the sleeping to growth spurt. Is that what you attributed it to?
Yeah. Honest, I think maybe 3 times in the last week where she slept so long I had to nudge Tatiana and make some jokes now that I would.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you don't really think too much of it at the time. Sorry.
It's all right.
So yeah, there's been a couple mornings where she had been sleeping for 15, 16 hours straight, and Tati just went and woke her up. She woke right up. Oh, look who's a hungry baby, kind of thing. So today when it happened, I didn't really think anything of it differently. I just thought it was another sleepy baby. She was, especially my wife keeps her up all morning, so she's just exhausted sometimes by the time she goes to bed. And if she doesn't make a peep, if she doesn't make a sound, or if she's in there and everything, as far as I know, everything is fine when she's put down. I'm not inclined to wake the kid up.
Right, sure. Do you bathe? Did you ever bathe?
I didn't know.
Do you ever change a diaper?
Oh yeah.
When was the last time you figured you changed?
Here we go again.
It might have been yesterday morning.
Because I'm trying to imagine when Tatiana goes to work from means at 2:30.
Oh, usually when she gets up to eat, I would change her diapers.
Then you got daddy duty, you change the diapers as well.
Yeah.
But Seth, here's the thing: is that she's so tiny. Was there never a time that you just well, there's something really wrong?
There was never a time where I thought there was something really wrong. I did say to Tatiana, hey, with her being the age she is, let's really try to see if the protein, the fat and the protein as her digestive system is developed, let's see if that kicks things into gear, and if not, let's go see a doctor. Because, she's a skinny little girl.
When did you have that conversation?
I might have been 2 weeks ago. Yeah, because even at that point I was just a little,
So how much, 2 weeks ago, how much did you figure that she weighed?
I don't know.
Was she the same size now, smaller, bigger?
I don't know.
Okay. hung up today.
It's incredibly clear by Seth's body language and his tone that he is incredibly annoyed about having to talk about this. He isn't emotional and he isn't upset about losing his child. He is pissed that he has had to sit here for 2 whole hours and now he has to talk more about this. His body language is that of a kid who has been sent to the principal's office.
I know it's frustrating.
Yeah, I just kind of like woke up like a regular day. I wasn't feeling very well last night. So I slept in because I didn't sleep very well.
It's all about him.
I think I rolled out of bed like 8 to 8:30 to care of some chores. And then I lay back.
I mean, for those of you who are parents, I think you'll get me here, that if you lost a child, just point blank, you've lost a child. But in this case, he has lost a child in an incredibly horrific way. For those of you who are parents, wouldn't you be sobbing right about now? Wouldn't you be completely distraught? I mean, I can't even, my son's 29. I can't even fucking imagine losing my son. I cannot imagine outliving my own child. And to lose a child in such a horrific way, and he's sitting there like he's talking with bar buddies, trying to be like, oh yeah, well, yesterday was all about me. I can't remember if I changed her diaper. God damn, you guys.
Down, and then my wife told me she was going to go right up the street to the neighbor's house to go get some kids. And when she came back, I woke up, and then I guess she decided, tell me, and that's that.
So what did you do when she told you that?
I had split out of bed and raced to the room and,
So you're helpless, right? Like, what you know what to do?
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I could tell she was dead from looking at her.
But Tatiana couldn't.
She's a mom.
Right.
She's so.
Yep.
I'm used to dealing with a lot of dead bodies. The farm.
Yeah.
So I know what they look like. That was that.
He just ended talking about how he found his daughter dead by saying, so, that was that. He absolutely does not care about his children. He does not care that his daughter has died. And he thinks that having to talk about it is a waste of time and that the police are just fucking with him.
Well, what did Tatiana do?
She tried to do CPR.
So,
Oh my God.
were you in there when she
Idiot.
was doing in the same room with her when she was trying CPR?
Yeah,
And then what were you doing?
she's the one who knows how to do all that kind of stuff. So I was looking and watching and
Just
thinking about what to do. Thinking about just trying to think about what to do next.
So what did you do next?
Call my dad.
Okay, and then what did you tell your dad?
I don't know what to do.
What he said?
Well, I kind of figured I was supposed to call the police. I don't know. I don't have any experience with it now. Well, I did then. I do now. So I just called him and said, hey, should I call the police or what? I don't know how this works. And he said, yeah, we'll be on the way. Call them when we get there, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It had been about an hour and some change, and I was starting to get impatient because I did not want to. I know how it looks when people wait to make a police call, so I just.
Mm-hmm. So you called prior to your...
So I got impatient. I called my wife. Are you guys here yet? Because it's like 11:05 now. I knew that was going to be a process too, so I wanted to get things going.
Yeah.
And they were in Cedar at the gas station, and they're like, yeah, we'll be there. And so then I called you guys.
So, because obviously you're in a target band, so obviously for us, and you just said yourself, it looks weird, right? I'm saying you didn't know what you're doing, but in our world, we deal with this a lot. We don't know every single person in the county and everyone's personalities.
Sure. And I wanted to just call you guys first, but I was following my legal advice. So
yeah.
I'm sorry if there's a problem at all. I just do what the lawyer told me to do.
No, here's the thing. I'm not saying. I'm just telling you. I'm just confirming what you said. It looks weird. That's all. We're not saying that you did something horrible in those 2 hours. We're just saying that it's not the norm. So
sure.
So what did you guys do during the 2 hours?
We sat there and cried.
Yeah.
Diana called it her job.
I'm sure you did. Come on.
Me and guests were coming to clean anything up. Yeah, we cleaned up the house a little bit. Boy, it was a mess. I knew we were going to have my parents over.
Mom getting after you? So what all the house cleaning entail?
Wiping up the counter and sweeping the floor.
Okay. How'd the kids handle it?
They don't really get it. They don't really get it. So.
But here's the thing. Looking back, you can't even weigh 8 pounds right now. She only weighed 8 pounds.
Okay.
I don't know, she weighs 6 pounds. She's tiny. Was that never an alarm for you? Was it never an alarm? Like, man, she's not where she needs to be. I can see all of her bones.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I just told you in regards to that matter. So yes, there was, which is what I told you. I also generally, I don't trust the medical system so much as other people. So when it says, it needs to be this, the other, like I said, I had a doctor was mutant and needed a head-shaping helmet. I was told that she was underweight, fraudulently. I know how they work, and I know they're in business, and that healthy people don't make them any money.
So that kind of skewed your...
Yeah, it skewed the way, it changes the way that we do things a lot differently than most other people. But looking at your daughter, looking back, you as a parent, as a father, didn't you have any concern for her looking at her? Yes, I did.
But you just didn't think it was concern that the medical field could fix?
One, I would say somewhat. Two, I was kind of more in that I have never encountered a health problem where basically if you don't do the right things and be patient, that it works itself out, especially with the kids. I get as we get older, there's other things. I was not happy about how thin she was, but I also have the belief that God didn't make us all
the same.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of chalked it up to that. I was not happy about how skinny she was. That's why if you look in the house, you can see all the baby food. That's potatoes with chicken and cheese, and everything matches up with what I'm saying. I guess
Did your
she was always very healthy. She was never sick.
She answered that one.
The first time that God is mentioned in line with Seth's belief is when he says that he simply believed that his daughter was extremely malnourished and underweight because God makes people in different shapes and sizes. He says this while emphasizing his issues with the medical system and more because a doctor previously stated that their children were malnourished, which he believes is untrue, despite the position he is in now.
Yeah, so it never, if she had been sickly in any way, it would have been, okay, that's it. She's sickly and skinny. But she was always just skinny.
But Seth, that's where I'm going to disagree with you. Okay? I'm a parent. I'm a father. I have 3 children. Mm-hmm. He's a father. You're a father. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I'm just being honest with you. Okay? Because I don't know how to be anything other than. Okay? And I'm telling you right now, I've been doing this job for a long time. Okay? And he'll tell you when I walked in that bedroom today. All right? I started crying. Okay? I looked at that little baby, and I looked at her for a millisecond, mm-hmm. and I knew that she wasn't right. And I knew that she wasn't right for some time. Okay? And you're her father.
Yes. And I'll tell you, I saw her when she was dead, too. She was much more gaunt when she was dead than she ever was when she was alive. I mean, I got pictures on my phone.
Yeah. Right, but let me ask you this. When's the last time you saw that baby without any clothes on in a bath?
Me? I've never given her a bath.
Okay, but you changed her diaper maybe a day and a half ago, correct? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth. You said that, correct? Mm-hmm. How did you not, when you looked at her a day and a half ago changing her diaper, and realize that my daughter is skin and bones? When I looked at her belly in the house, okay, and I'm not exaggerating this.
I know.
I could see the outline of her intestines through her stomach. I could see her spine completely through her back. I could see every one of her ribs through her chest.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, like I said, I'm not happy about it either. You know, you're welcome to go through my garbage and look at the baby food containers, and
here's the thing. I'm certainly not knocking on his faith. I have the same faith and the same creator that you have. Does your faith prevent you from allowing you to use medical services?
No.
Once again, it is only when the officer offers up the reasoning that his faith might prevent using medical services that Seth agrees.
So you would use medical services, or you would not? So it's just your experience that prevents you, not your faith.
No, in some ways, like for example, on the immunization, it started out with a rational concern. But yeah, faith-based, I you'd have to strap us down to a table and put it in there.
Okay. Does that apply to your children too?
Yes.
Okay. So
we got to pause here because I'm pulling up on the hour. I'm gonna have to clip the video. And this is also one of the more disturbing videos that I've covered at this point. Plus, really not not really liking the way that you've edited this. And you left all of the dead air in there rather than either bleeped it or just sped it up. Or you got a 3-hour video on this bullshit. And you could have totally cut all of that dead air. Anyway, we're going to take a pause. That was, I think, part 4. Yeah, I think that was part 4, and so hopefully I can get through the last segment as a part 5, but I don't know how much commentary I might have on it, so it might actually take 2 more segments. Let's see.